You guys have been bad. Apparently they like Subway. Put the box up there so they wouldn't get into it when I cleared out my truck. And what's this? Huh? You took the key out of the truck. Are you trying to take the Fargo?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fixing Up the Fargo Part 5. Our goal on our videos now is less of this, less talking, and more doing. So let's get to it. This truck looks really good dressed up with its Fargo logos. However, the back of these are rotted off or corroded and we can't put a nut on. So we have the choice of putting adhesive on them, but the problem is with that is when I put it in like this, see how it sticks out? There's these ridges on the back around the tits here, right there. So to remedy this, what I've done is taken a grinder and grind it that smooth, so this will fit flat, so we can use an adhesive on it. And with the remnants of our stud, we'll put something to the back to hold it to keep thieves from taking them as well. With all that grinding done, let's see how it fits on the truck. That's much tighter. We'll be able to get on the back here and put some sort of safety clip on a couple of these, and we'll be able to adhere this to the paint. You can't tell right now, but once that tape is off of there, it really ties this truck together having that badging on. Okay, what you're looking at here is an extra safety feature on a Fargo badge. That is 2 zip ties with a piece of fuel line running from tit to tit. The middle one was gone, so I ran the fuel line over. There is a bit of sealant in there, as you can see the black, and I tightened the zip ties tight on there. Now if that adhesive ever decides to go anywhere, it'll slide out and just likely hit that zip tie, but there's a piece of fuel line all the way through. Don't ask me why I did that, but it ain't gonna go anywhere. Number 2 down. Tough life, ain't it? With our badging done, that pretty well does it for our cosmetics on our truck. Since we're still waiting on our piston rings, valve grinding equipment, and all that jazz, let's go ahead and yank this fuel pump and get it repaired. But before we get to that, we just had these sent to us by Ron, who was an old engine rebuilder back in the 40s, 50s, 60s stuff. He knows it all really well. Anyways, he had some extra books and he sent me one for the cost of the shipping. So we got it on these Canadian built motors. Since they're different than American, we'll go through that history. I might even talk to Ron and see if he can give us better history on stuff. But it'll give us lots of information here. We'll give this a quick clean so you guys can see what I'm doing. If you remember in the first episode, or a few episodes in, this spring was in the bottom of the oil pan. So this fuel pump was replaced at one time. I'm pretty sure this pump was replaced. However, that was 34 years ago when he last drove it, somewhere around 86, 87 in there. And if you listen, you can hear it. Listen. I have no doubt that that would pump fuel, but we don't want all this garbage going into our nice clean carburetor. So let's grab a flathead and pull off these 5 bolts, or 6. If we're lucky, we'll pull this apart with no big issues. Look at that. Looks very clean, actually. Clean around there as well. Nice. Under our diaphragm, we have this, well, we have our cup on top, and then underneath our diaphragm, we have a spring, and there is a little bit of a rubber piece in there, but oil from your crankcase will go up and in here and lube that stuff in here, this pin and everything. And all we want to make sure is there's no cracking on here, and we're good to go. This is very pliable. A lot of times they're hard. I have actually seen guys put, I think it's brake fluid on them, and that's what I did. It must have some sort of a conditioner, and you can put it on there and it'll soften up the rubber again. Not sure if it's recommended, but it'll get you through a pinch. So we just got to make sure that it's pliable, which it is, and that's fine. I would pull this out and show you, but there's like a hook where this goes on in the bottom, and sometimes they're a pain to get back on. So up top, we need to inspect our valves. We have 2 of them. So what happens is when your lever right here, when this pushes in with your camshaft, it'll push like this. That diaphragm goes down and sucks. So this is a sealed container in here. So when it sucks through this valve right here, which these ones are like a plastic or a tin, actually it might be rubber, but I have seen them deteriorated. So if one of these is gone, it won't work right. So this sucks in, it's a one-way valve. It'll let fuel in, but then when that diaphragm goes to go back up, it would just push it back out and into your fuel bowl. It comes in through here to here. So this one goes the opposite way. So if I push on it, it's nice and free. Sometimes these stick, it's very free. So when it pulls like this, fuel comes in here, and then when it goes to push back up that diaphragm, it pushes the fuel out here and out your outlet right there. We're gonna clean this up a little bit, clean up our mating surface here, and bolt this back together and clean this bowl up, make a new gasket. That's much nicer. We'll make up a gasket after, but let's get this bolted up now that it's all dried up. We're good to go. I got to get a new fitting for here, but we'll put it on for now. I want to say that a lot of times in here, there's actually a screen up there that acts as a fuel filter. However, we're just using this as a sediment bowl to grab sediment and water that will sit down here, and the gas flows over top of it. We're going to put a fuel filter upstream of it. With our fuel pump now done, we're ready to go on to some other stuff. We took a little bit of a vacation this weekend, and my friend Mike was going over to Lethbridge to the swap meet, so I went there too. I picked this up, I think for 25 bucks. Ridge reamer, can't beat these old tools. A nice old Blue Point snap-on valve compressor that I needed for 20 bucks, can't beat that. And Mike lent me his
valve seat grinding kit until I can find a new one. So, oh, and I picked up some of these for 10 bucks for my old trailer because I smashed mine in the snowbank when I was pulling it out. So with prices today, you can't beat some of the swap meet stuff. Anyways, we're gonna just try and grind some valves here and see what we can do. We just got the 2 to do, so we're gonna test this machine out. As you can tell, our seat is very badly pitted. So I don't have a stone dresser, but I have a few stones that Mike has dressed already. This one has a wee little chunk out of the side of it, but I think it's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna stand beside it though. You don't wanna put any pressure on this. These are hardened seats on the exhaust valves and it's very hard to grind. That's why I'm using this stone. It's very fine and for that hard stuff, I believe. So as you can see, look at it's barely touched. It's just bridging the pitting. So we'll see if this seat can be saved. If not, we're gonna have to get a new seat and put it in. It's looking pretty good. Our edges are very ragged. It was so pitted. Okay, we got a fairly uniform cut there. That pitting right there, and it was pitted pretty bad here. So I'm gonna put my valve in and lap it. And on this one, it's so funny. It looks like it's out around. It's not at all. It's just the seat was pitted so bad here, it looks like it's out around. We've definitely taken off more than you should, but it's round and it'll seal. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so this is a valve that's definitely been replaced. It's got a lot of margin, they call it there on it. So and this indent, I know it's been replaced. It's got different numbers on the bottom of it. It's on a Mopar valve. But if I drop this, it should bounce, I think, if it's got a decent enough valve guide. They're not too shit hot by any means. And this one here, I guess I should put some lube on it. Oh, it's hitting the lifter. I'll have to adjust that because since I ground so much out of it and it's sitting below where it should be, we'll adjust that out. Seating right below this edge, which is not ideal, but it's going to build compression and run, and that's all we're looking for at this moment. Kind of curious how this ridge reamer works. We got our cutter right here, and that's the way it cuts, so it comes upwards. So if we go like this, it should be coming up, and it is. So like I said, there really isn't a ridge on here, but as you can see, it took it off. My camera fell down when I was cranking on this one, but I put a little bit of pressure on that stone and cranked on it, and it left a beautiful, beautiful job. The hone will take care of the rest of that, but that little ridge is gone. Went ahead and skimmed along the rest of them. They're all very nice. It ain't a perfect job, but there's a little bit of a lip left, and that's what I want, because I do not want to cut into here, and our hone will bridge that gap and make it smooth. I'm pretty curious to see how my new valve spring compressor works. Even though I don't need to take out this valve, let's try it. So if I bring it down, where are we? You guys can see under there, I can't. I gotta release this lever. There we go. So if I go around here, that feels centered. From up here, I can't see down there. And if I push on this handle, let's see. Oh, apparently it's off to the side. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, we know that works well. There. All right, well, that old girl works good and definitely is worth 20 bucks. I love these old tools that are good quality. Somebody's modified this with an old square bolt. It's been done, or square nut. It's been done a long time ago. And I obviously was just too far in and got caught on the actual keeper and launched it off there. So note to self, keep it spread, or there's supposed to be some bolts in here to keep it spread like that, I believe, or spread out somehow, so that doesn't happen. But we'll figure it out. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode. This episode, I'm sorry, wasn't too exciting, but we got our badging on. It looks really good, and you know, we didn't have to use the ridge reamer, but we did. Why not try out the new tool? We got our honing stones coming in next week, different grit and stuff, so we can hopefully get that done. We'll get the rings done when they come in. And yeah, I hope you like the valve seat grinder that Mike lent me. We got one a local guy has that's maybe in his back shed. He can't remember if he threw it out or not. If he still has it, that would be great. Then we can do our valve faces. None of this stuff is to factory spec, that's for sure, but it's gonna run good. And these old engines are pretty forgiving. So for a budget build, it is what it is. If something's an issue, well, we'll address that after, but we'll get the cylinders done and everything. And if we have to do a complete valve job on it, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The flathead's easy to pull off, the tab covers, and we'll do that. And you might be saying, why aren't you doing that now? Well, we're not doing it now because all the other valves look great. All the seats, everything, I'm not even gonna lap them. They're very smooth, they're very nice. This engine was redone, but I think just from sitting, it's gone to crap. So that's about it. Stay tuned for next time, and hopefully you can finally hear this thing run in part 6 or whatever it's gonna be. Thanks for watching.